The girl who plays Anemone is an actress by the name of Kari Wahlgren. And Kari, you've seen Kari in Bolt. She played the network executive that threatens to fire everyone. And Anemone is a very, very high-pitched, very young character, and that's her natural voice. She also played an 80-year-old version of her. Perfectly well. It's all in placement and stuff. So if you can sound it, it's okay. All right? I play a lot of old men. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old. Yes?
I was wondering how you go about doing scenes with multiple actors. Like, are they where they can see and hear each other so that they can like, sort of work off of each other? Or how does that work?
Okay, good question. Yeah, there's a couple different... In anime, the answer is no. In anime, you work a single person in the booth at a time because we're dubbing.
There's no one to react to it.
No, occasionally you'll hear the other actor's already been recorded. You'll hear the other actor in your headphones. But in anime, you work alone, and it's a lot of imagination work. It's one of the reasons I encourage people to take acting classes because you got to do a lot of imagination work, and you really have to put yourself sometimes in a scene that doesn't exist. Because you're the first one recording the scenes. You got nobody to play off of except maybe the Japanese characters that are there. In gaming, it's the same. In gaming, you're generally by yourself, and even worse, in gaming, the game that I'm just doing right now, I'm directing an original game right now that I can't say the title of. But oh God, they'll sue me so bad. But it's an original game, so there's no picture, there's no Japanese translation, and there's no context in the script. And the script is organized with all of one character here, and then the next character all grouped. So I actually have to have the producer sit in, the writer sit in, and give the actor at least the context. So in gaming, it's even more difficult in that respect. Original American animation, which we call prelay animation, that's different. That you do work in a group. We did Robotech Shadow Chronicles that way. I know Gormiti, this other thing I was talking about earlier, we did that way. And yeah, you sit 10 or 12 people, or well, Gormiti was about 10 of us, in the room in a big U, and yeah, you don't really see each other because you're looking at the script, but you can certainly play off of each other in the timing. And that's a lot more fun. That is the holy grail for voice acting, by the way, is to be able to do that. It's the hardest job to get because it pays the most, and there's residuals, and you're up against people like you know, the names aren't coming out. Celebrities occasionally, or even smaller celebrities like Yuri Lowenthal. He's in that world, and I've gone up against him for a couple parts, and he's going to win. So, yes.
Is it okay for voice actors to get involved with the Hollywood industry?
With the what?
With the Hollywood industry?
The Hollywood industry?
Yeah.
He's saying, can you act as voice actors?
Can voice actors get involved with, you know, like Hollywood industry? Can they do like live action movies as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're all actors. I mean, I specialize in. For instance, I specialize in voicing because nobody. I've done 5 movies in my life.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you have a SAG or after?
Pardon?
Do they have SAG or after?
Do they have SAG or after? Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
There is no specific voice union for voice acting. In games, it's covered by AFTRA, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, and SAG, depending on which one they want to sign with. Anime, the few union animes there are, they don't pay any more, by the way, than regular anime, interestingly enough. But that's all covered under Screen Actors Guild. Very few anime is union, very little of it. Most of it's non-union. The games are about 50-50 these days, leaning towards non-union because the unions haven't gotten their shit together yet, quite frankly. Original animation is almost all union. So the answer is, yeah, there is union issues, and most of us are actors. I mean, Richard Epcar, who's here, he's been in several movies. He just appeared on some television show. We all do, and in order to put an acting career together, it's really important that you do more than one thing. You cannot make a living doing anime. Can't do it. You have to do anime, you have to do commercials, you have to do whatever it is to get you up in front of people that pays you. I'm also a singer. I'm actually in American Federation, in AFTRA as a singer, not as an actor. I've been on a couple of albums and I sing for Mattel from time to time. They did a 50th anniversary Barbie for the movie Grease, and if you push the button, you hear, Grease is the word, well, that's me. It's the one time I had to do a sound-alike. I had to sound like Frankie Valli. So. Any more questions? We'll move on. Yes?
You're describing how when you speak, you can kind of put it in different parts of your head versus the bottom of your throat, your chest.
Yes.
So any particular thing that you do that you kind of harder?
Well, the creating is a matter of playing with it. I didn't have any training specifically in that, except that as a singer, so I learned how to place my voice that way. But essentially, you have to play with it at home. I mean, you really kind of have to play and see how your physiology works. My issue is I had to push my voice down. So, because my voice is way up here in the top of the head, and anybody who saw Robotech, I sound like I'm speaking with helium in my mouth. But I had to push my voice down, and I did that by doing vocal exercises, scales, all of that stuff, and to push it down. Which that's why I'm a singer. No. So you want to just playing with some stuff. Just make sure whatever you do doesn't involve tightening or putting it in your throat. As long as that's relaxed, the rest will work. You have a naturally deep voice. That's where you're going to live most of the time. But you can push it up a little bit by placing a little bit. What you don't want to try to do is move your pitch up. Because if I was going to take just to move my pitch up, now I'm sounding. That doesn't sound natural. Okay. Unless I'm doing Mickey. I really wanted that too. So you don't want to move your pitch. You want to just place it in different ways. Maybe put it up in your nose a little bit and try that. And by that, the character should kind of emerge. The best characters that you can make are the ones that kind of spring forth. That just kind of happen. That's why I don't teach people to go think about the character and all this stuff so much as to get into the feeling, take a look at the character, and then see what comes out of your mouth. And often that's going to be the best thing that you do because it's going to be the most natural. Right? Yes.
How much of voice acting is like impromptu, like stuff you have to think of yourself?
Improvised?
Like, yeah.
How much of voice acting is improvised? Almost none of it, except for when you first start, interestingly enough. There's a thing in voice acting called walla or group work or bits in walla, and that's usually for motion pictures. They don't do it much in anime anymore because it's too expensive. But where you're working in a group situation, the last one I did was Muppets Wizard of Oz. I got to be a rat. Anyway, but in that case, you have a group of about 8 people. The director will show you the piece and say, okay, we got, this is a group of people. And walla is all of the background stuff, the stuff that's not scripted, that's in the background, the people in the restaurant talking. There's people that do that. Actually, it's a nice way to make a living if you can break into it. And the director will say, okay, you're in a hospital, and these things are going. I want you to cover those 2 doctors in the back. I want you guys to be patients, and it's 2 minutes long. Go. So thank you for asking that, because there's another class that you need to take if you want to do this for a living, and that's improv. All right. Improv will give you confidence. Improv will make your auditions go better, because very often, look, the last big game I auditioned for that I got, I think I can talk about it now. It's called Basara 3. It'll be out later this year. It's really a cool game. But I was brought in to read for 5 parts, and I read all 5 parts, and the director was Taliesin Jaffe. You guys know who Taliesin is? You should. He's a big anime director.
We do now.
But Taliesin basically said, you know what? Try this, and he threw a script in front of me. I had like a minute, and I had to improvise something. Not the words, but the character. And that improv experience is what allowed me to come up with the character, and that's the one I got. So improv is going to help you an awful lot with confidence. But when you go take an improv class, don't approach it as, I need to go in here to be funny. Because that's where most people go into improv classes, they want to be funny. And that's fine, let them be funny. I'm not particularly funny in an improv. I'm a good reactive comic. I can set up the funny guys to get laughs, and I was happy with that. You want to go in there with the idea of getting quick, and getting light on your feet, and getting comfortable with creating characters like this in a moment's notice, and that's what will help you. So the answer to what you asked is yes and no. But when you first start, you actually need the yes. Okay? Yes?
What is the best way you can go about looking for legitimate auditions?
What's the best way for going about getting a legitimate auditions? First, talk louder. No, I'm just kidding. It's tough. It's a bit of a cliquish business. So one of the ways that you do is you go to the trades. There's trade papers. There's a Backstage East and Backstage West, depending on which coast you're going to, that has audition information. There's a thing called Breakdown Services Limited, which has a thing called ActorsAccess.com. And that's where most of the professional auditions are, in that this is the same service that the agents use to find out how to submit. And it's a free service, by the way, to actors, unless you submit. It's $2 for each thing you submit to, but to get the notices are free, which is kind of nice. Or you can, I think for $29 a month, you could do unlimited amounts and that sort of thing. But that's how you find those. Social networking is going to help a lot. That's where a lot of people find out about this audition or that audition. Getting hooked into workshops that are attached to studios, okay? Like ours, like Kalmanson and Kalmanson's. There's The Edge in New York. All of these studios, they teach workshops because it's a nice way to make money, but it's also a nice way to develop and find new talent. So more than one of my students has gotten cast and stuff because I'm attached to Bang Zoom, and they're going, I need this kind of voice, what do you got? And I'll give them one of our students, and they'll audition and either get it or not. So that's a couple of ways to do it. The rest is being scrappy. Is going out and asking a lot of questions, shaking hands, you know, make sure you get your demos to the various studios that do the kind of work that you want to do. Okay? It's hard. It's really hard, but you can do it if you really want to. Yes? How much money do you get from voice acting? Interesting, it's from the youngest person in the room. Okay, non-union voice acting, and then after this we're gonna do a little voice acting ourselves. Non-union voice acting varies from state to state. Okay, in California, the rate is $64.25 per hour with a 2-hour minimum for non-union anime work, or for non-union anime. Sounds like a lot of money, but an average, if you're doing a series, you're going to work an average of about 3 hours a month. So we're talking about $200. That's it. Okay. So you need to put together a lot of different roles. You know, the idea is a good week is when you have to go into the studio 2 or 3 times a day to different places. Non-union games pay between this is in Los Angeles, by the way. The rates in Texas are a little less, and I don't know what the rates are in New York. Non-union video games pay between $150 to $200 an hour with a 2-hour minimum, and you're probably going to do 2 to 4 hours on any one game you do, unless you have the lead. Okay. So again, you got to put yourself a lot of different parts together in order to make that work. When you get into the union stuff, it gets a little better. Union anime is the same, $64.25 an hour, but they do a 13% pension and welfare payment that you'll never see. Original animation, films, feature films, that sort of thing for Union Walla and that sort of stuff pays $790 for a 4-hour session. Now that's enough money to make a living on. Okay, that's what when you do, and for major union games, it's the same thing. $790 for a session, for a 4-hour session. Unless they have you do multiple voices, they get 3 voices for that. If they want you to do 4 to 6 voices, that goes up to about $1,000. So most I've ever made is like $1,500 for a session for about a 4-hour session. So singing's actually pays better. All right, let's play a little bit, shall we? All right. Let's see what some of you guys got. Now I've got, these are anime scripts. Now normally if I do this like an Anime Expo or nearby the studio, I actually have somebody bring a rig, and we you know, I don't have that capability. So we're just going to kind of do this kind of Reader's Theater style, okay? So I need a guy and a girl. You and you. Yeah. We got more, don't worry.
It's a dream come true though, you know?
Okay. So this is a script from Magna Carta 2, which is a game that we did a couple years ago. And these are characters. Let me tell you the characters. The character is Melissa. Melissa is kind of an older sister kind of person, all right? She found Juto, who you're playing, on a beach one day, half dead. He doesn't remember where he came from or anything like that. And so you took him in and kind of become like his older sister and have that kind of relationship. You're a hardworking person who's always on top of everything, and he is just a lazy teenager. All right? So you love him, but you're a little frustrated. Juto is a lazy teenager who is kind of
Stereotypical lazy teenager.
lazy teenager. In this scene, he's instead of doing his chores like he's supposed to be doing, he's laying back in a boat that's hanging over the water on a crane and trying to hide from her and sleeping, and she comes and wakes you up.
M&S
Means mouth not seen. Yeah, in these scripts, there's marks that help the actor know what's going on screen so that you're not all alone. There's actually, you get a lot of help when you're in the studio, you're not by yourself, and that's what those are. So don't worry about those since we're not dealing with a picture here, okay? All right. So I want you to stand next to each other. Just stand facing forward.
Right.
Audience is over there. Okay. All right. And look those over really quickly.
What's in this?
Mouth not seen. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about anything in the parentheses. got it? All right, let's start. 3, 2, 1.
Would you get up from there already? I said get up. Can't you see that everyone else is working?
Hey, cut it out. Look, I was up all right. I was up really late working yesterday, so cut me some slack.
Slack, huh? Go ahead and rest if you want.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, rest in peace.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wah!
Good. Let's redirect this just a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to slow down, all right? He's kind of lazy, he's laying there, so I love the energy. Just slow down. Keep the energy, but just slow down what you're saying, okay? And with you, I want you a little bit more, I like the energy. By the way, these guys, I said don't hold back. This is what that means. See how appealing that was? Okay? All right. I want you to give me that same energy, but she's a little more sarcastic and like I had it with him. So don't yell at him so much as be like, oh, come on. All right? All right, here we go. One more time. In 3, 2, 1.
Would you get up from there already? I said get up. Can't you see that everyone else is working?
Ugh. Hey, cut it out. Look, I was up really late working yesterday, so cut me some slack.
Slack, huh? Go ahead and rest if you want.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, rest in peace.
Wait a minute. Wah!
Okay, cool. Give me a big scream.
Wah! Wah!
What she does is she kicks out the thing that's holding the boat up and drops it down the cliff into the water. So that was really good, guys. That was really good. That's what I'm talking about by
It's a
promoting.
dream come true, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, except that the pictures weren't on the screen.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah, the method that we work with is we use the beep system. We actually preview each line. We do one line at a time. We look at it in Japanese first, then we go back and then we record
I
it in
saw
English.
videos on YouTube and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah. So do I. All right. I need. Wow. This is mostly a girls one. I need a guy, 2 guys and a girl. Okay. Girl in the back. Guy over here. And guy over there. I'm just trying to spread it around the room. I'll get to you. Okay. Let me hear your voice. Just that. Let me hear what you said. Telling. Okay, good. We're gonna play Simone. You're gonna play Kamina. All right. Now, in this scene, this is from Gurren Lagann, by the way. Owen means open mouth. Don't worry about the stuff in parentheses. Okay. What's going on here is this is at the beginning of the series when Yoko, who is a beautiful a woman who wears very little clothing, but carries a .50 caliber machine gun and is very feminine but tough at the same time. Okay. She just helped these 2 guys battle their way out from underground because they've lived their entire life underground, only thinking that there might be some place of surface. Okay? So this is the first time they're now floating in the air up in this machine called a gunman. And you're finally introducing yourself. Well, they're all going, wow, look, there's sky and the ground. Now, Simone is a young guy. Johnny Bosch kind of voice.
I've seen the show.
You've seen the show, okay. Who's kind of a little scared at this point and a little, so he's kind of focused on this. Kamina is a big, kind of bold, bigger than life kind of guy. I'm going to tell Kyle, you said that. And you only have one line here, but it's big. He like leans in and he's like checking her out and that sort of thing. Although there's not a lot of sexuality in this, but still he's that kind of guy. Okay? So big and bold and loud, especially when he says his name, okay, which is Kamina, and his name is Simon. The reason I'm saying that is you have that in your line. So, all right. So that's what's going on. Don't worry about Buta. Buta is just a little thing, and just the pig mole, yes, who ends up living in Yoko's cleavage. So that's what you're referring to there at the end of the scene.
Gotcha,
Okay?
gotcha.
All right. So any questions? All right, look it over for a quick second. And here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
It's Yoko. Yoko is my name. I never introduced myself, did I?
Come to think of it,
I am Kamina. This is Simon.
Nice to meet you. What is this little furry thing that's been hiding out my cleavage?
Buddha, behave yourself!
All right, good. Now, a couple things. Want to get much louder, everybody.
Okay.
Now, with her, she's kind of flirty, even though she's not. It's kind of her way. She's not really flirty, but she thinks he's cute in a brotherly way, and she thinks he's kind of cute in a manly way, but she finds him obnoxious. Some of you have dated someone like that, haven't you? All right. So, and I want you to be a little bit bigger, especially I'm Kamina. Really big, okay? Really nice and loud. All right. Here we go. One more time. In 3, 2, 1.
It's Yoko. Yoko is my name. I never introduced myself, did I?
Oh, come to think of it,
I'm Kamina. This is Simon.
Nice to meet you. What is this little furry thing that's been hiding out my cleavage?
Buddha, behave yourself!
Excellent. Good energy. Thank you very much. That's. Now, one of the things I want to point out is when I gave these guys directions, they changed what they did, okay? And that's really important. You need to be directable when you're doing this professionally. Because you're going to go in with a certain idea in your head as to how something should be, and you're going to end up them saying, that's really nice, but do it differently. And you need to be able to go there. Very often when I'm auditioning someone, if I'm directing the audition, and I'm auditioning somebody brand new, I'll get them to read the character the way that I want, and then I'll take them a completely different direction. Not because I want that character that way, but I need to see if they're directable. Because I can't spend a lot of time in the studio trying to get them to do the lines the way I need them to be done. Okay? So it's really important that you're flexible, and you guys did a nice job with that. Okay? All right. I need 2 guys. You and you. Okay, so this is from Gankutsuo, the Count of Monte Cristo. If you've never seen this, it's awesome, it's gorgeous, it's the most beautiful, strange animation you've ever seen. And Jameson is so creepy as the Count, he just makes you want to watch it. He's got this deep voice. Don't worry about that. Okay. All right, in this scene, Franz, the lead character's name is Albert, who's played by Johnny Bosch, who plays everything. I've said that in front of him, he laughs. And Albert has been kidnapped, okay? So let me hear your voice.
Hello.
Let me hear yours. Okay. I want you to play Peppino, okay? And you're gonna play Franz. Now Franz is Albert's best friend, and he's trying to find out what the hell happened, and Peppino is the guy that works for the Count, who's there to gain ransom, because you know where it is, and you're trying to get ransom out of him. Now Peppino is this kind of, one of these kind of guys, you know, a little, remember this is a French drama, so you got to think in terms of these kind of a rat that works for the big guy, okay? And he's a smart ass. He's smarmy and as you wish. All right. Franz is a gentleman. He's a French gentleman. No accents, please. And he's just aghast that anyone would treat his friend like this. And he's trying to keep him from going. So we're going to take it all the way down to number 91. We're just going to go down to there. Okay? If you value your friend well. Okay, that's where we're going to go. All right? So, and by the way, they're on the moon. But it's 6,500. It's 6,500 years in the future. So the moon is livable there. It's been terraformed or animated or something. All right. So you looking that over? All right. Here we go. One more time. 3, 2, 1.
If you value your friend's life.
Well, that's where we start. That's where we end.
That's where we end.
We need to start here.
Start here.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Where is Albert? Don't worry, he's a valuable hostage, so I'm sure he's being treated with all due respect. If the money is handed over right away, he'll be promptly returned to you without so much as a scratch.
You should have died. How dare you do something like this?
Well, sir, even I have a lifestyle to maintain.
But 50 million is absurd!
You're an aristocrat. I'm sure you won't have any trouble getting it. Dawn comes fast on Luna. If you value your friends.
Did you guys hear?
No.
You gotta be louder. I'm so sorry. All right, good. Now here's what I want you to do. On Peppino, put yourself kind of in this physical position. He's one of these kind of guys, you know. Dawn comes fast on Luna, you know. Even I have it. He's kind of big and broad and just disgusting. Now I want you, as the gentleman, that's great. Just pull him back just a little bit, because gentlemen tend to be a little bit more pulled back than that, all right? Here we go, one more time. In 3, 2, 1.
Where is Albert?
Don't worry, he's a valuable hostage, so I'm sure he's being treated with all due respect. If the money is handed over right away, he'll be promptly returned to you without so much as a scratch.
You should have died. How dare you do something like this?
Well, sir, even I have a lifestyle to maintain.
But 50 million is absurd.
You're an aristocrat. I'm sure you won't have any trouble getting it. Dawn comes fast on Luna. If you value your friend's life.
Nice. Very nice. Now, my only critique is slow down.
Sorry.
You just gotta, don't apologize. You didn't harm me. No, really, it's interesting, and it's something that we all have been taught to do when we get critique, is to apologize and stuff like that. When you're, as an actor, this is what you do. You get notes constantly. In fact, the only time that you're not getting notes is when you're doing it perfectly, and none of us ever work perfectly. So so you just take the note and move on and go for it. All right? Don't ever apologize. All right. You're so polite. All right, I need 1, 2, 3 ladies. Wow. You in the red, and you with the yellow thing there. Okay. Who's got the highest voice?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. You're going to be Marie.
Okay.
Who's got? Let me hear you. You're going to be Hare. You're going to be Tohoste. Okay. Okay. Now this is from a show called Hare Goo.
Oh, yes!
Well, you don't have to say anything.
You're like, you're poked in. It's okay. I gotta say, because I directed this. I directed this, and we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed in the studio. It's basically a story about a young boy named Hare, for those of you who don't know, who lives in the jungle with his mother. His mother's 25, he's 10, you do the math. And they have all the comforts of home. I mean, they have telephones and video games and all that stuff, but they live in the jungle. And the mother, as well as being a young mother, is also a raging alcoholic. And they bring in this little girl named Goo to live with them. And Hare seems to be the only one that seems to realize that Goo has all these strange powers. And he's on the verge of a nervous breakdown almost the entire series because no one else seems to notice it but him. And she has powers like she can swallow a whole community up and it lives in her stomach, still alive. And,
Exactly why you should watch it.
there's a character named Elder who's got this chest hair.
Oh my god.
And he loves to rub the kids' chest hair, the kids' faces in the chest hair. And Goo, if she wants to have a 70s party, steals the chest hair and turns it into an afro. And then he's afraid of her for the rest of it. Yeah. So this is the kind of show this is. In this scene, Goo is not in this scene, by the way. But in this scene, they're kind of lamenting. They're looking through a book, and there's a picture book with snow on the mountains. And Marie, who's Marie? Marie is she loves fashion. She just loves fashion. She's all about making clothes and stuff like that. So she's lamenting the fact that, that it never snows in the jungle, so she can't make coats. Hare is totally in love with Marie. So anytime, so is there something wrong? What can I do for you? And then realizes that she's just kind of not understanding. And the punchline at the end of the scene tells you what it is. We're going down to lines 14. Okay. Now 13 and 14. And Toposte is he's just one of these guys who just likes everything, and he's one of those dudes. Okay, he looks like Astro Boy. In fact, it's almost a director of these last two lines, 13 and 14, you guys do in unison together. Okay, the two of you. All right. And don't worry about the poke there. It's just a sound. Okay. All right. So. Oh, underline means it's off camera, so don't worry about that. So don't worry about, just worry about the words, not about the markings, unless we have pictures, that's the way. All right? Let's look it over real quick. And here we go. Oh, so who's doing hard? Is the boy? Okay, you got to be a boy. Okay, so a boy, to play boys, you have to project a little bit more. You get a little bit of rasp. Think like a little boy. Little boys are all about testosterone and kind of going and getting out there instead of laid back. So you need to be a little bit more aggressive than you would normally be. Okay? All right, cool. Toposte is a boy too.
Okay.
Okay? But for some reason he doesn't have this. It's different. Here we go.
He's really a
In
girl.
3, 2, 1.
I'm so jealous.
Is something wrong with that photo book, Marie?
Oh, the scenery covered in snow is just so wonderful. Just for once, I want to see it snow and touch it and know what it feels like.
Yeah, I've always wondered how it feels.
That's the poster.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, I've always wondered how it feels.
Snow, huh?
I want to play around in the snow just once. It's not something you can do in a jungle, you know?
Yeah, there's that, but the biggest problem I have is that here in the jungle, you never get to wear really cute coats.
Is that the biggest one you got?
All right, that's it. All right. It's funnier with picture. All right, so let's do it again. Marie, really overdo it. Play over cute anime girl. Okay. Oh, that sort of thing. I want to see snow and touch it and that sort of thing. Okay. Toposte, perfect character, just a little louder. Okay. And then the same thing with you, just a little bit louder. All right. Okay. And by the way, everybody slow down. Okay. Our tendency is to talk real fast. When you first start doing this, if you sound like you're going the right speed, chances are you're going too fast. It should sound like you're going about half to 2/3 speed in your head, and you're probably doing the right speed for real. Okay? All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
I'm so jealous.
Is something wrong with that photo book, Marie?
Oh, the scenery covered in snow is just so wonderful.
Oh.
Just for once, I want to see snow and touch it and know what it feels like.
Yeah, I've always wondered how it feels.
Snow, huh?
I want to play around in the snow just once. It's not something you can do in a jungle, you know?
Yeah, there's that, but the biggest problem I have is that here in the jungle, you never get to wear really cute coats.
That's the biggest one you got?
Good. All right. All right, excellent. Nice job. And that's tough because usually, girls play most of the boys, okay? And usually I have to really, in these workshops, I really have to fight to get a boy's voice out of it. You guys did a wonderful job. That was really nice. Really nice. Nice sighing over there. Nice sighing. All right, we're going to do one more. We're going to go a little long, but what the hell. I'm going to do one more here, and I need, hold on, I need some 1, 2, 3. It's a bigger scene. 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I need 6 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. You already went 5, 6. I need 2 on the side. You and you. Now, one of you is going to have to. The ladies, you're going to have to share one script.
No problem.
This is really a guy scene, so you guys like to. Tell me. Okay, I'm gonna have, you're gonna play Hap. You're gonna play Renton. You're gonna have to really push your voice up, okay? You're gonna be Matthew. You're gonna be Stoner. You're gonna be Moondoggy. I got one more. Who am I missing? You get Renton, Moondoggy, Gidget, and Hilda. Okay? Did I get a Hap? Somebody get a Hap? Did I bring up too many people? Guy in red? No, that doesn't work out. Okay. I think I got one too many people. I'm sorry.
Big guy.
Ask you later.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'm sorry. All right, so.
One of the girls has another script.
Pardon? Oh, yeah. Okay, you guys like have one line, all right? You have like two. Gidget is what it sounds like. Gidget is, do I have a Moondoggy? Okay. Gidget is in love with Moondoggy, all right? Anything he does is wonderful. She's just, she's one of those nights, just like the movies, yeah. Hilda is the only sane person in the room. Now, what these guys are all doing is they're sitting around watching a video, a live feed of a game, a scam they're running on Renton, and I'll explain that in a minute. You think this is all guy stuff and stupid, and so you get up. Who's Matthew? Matthew, you're married to Hilda, and he's a sports kind of guy. He wears basketball clothing. It's a little offensive in some ways, but and he's a guy until it comes to her, and he turns into a little mouse. And you know, what do you want, honey? He kind of whines at her. All right, so that's your character. Moondoggy used to be the youngest person on the thing, and Moondoggy has now been sent to spy on Renton while they're running this game on him. Okay, but he ends up getting jealous and letting himself be seen, and now he's confronting Renton because he thinks he's jealous of him. That's what's going on. He's crying through a lot of this. He's like, I'm a temper tantrum. You're messing me over. What do you play? Stoner. Okay, Stoner is not what it sounds like his name. Maybe in the Japanese original, in the manga, but not in this, all right? Stoner is the poet. He's the writer of the group, so everything is a little bit poetic. He's the one that keeps the journal, and he's having fun too. He's a little bit older than the others, all right? You playing, I've already talked to Matthew. Okay, Renton. Renton is the newest kid on the block. Johnny also. Everything I do, Johnny's the leader. And I don't cast it, but I had to have a casting firm. Renton he just wants to be out there. He just wants to be one of the group. So he's out on this mission. They send him on a mission to deliver this very important box to this secret person. What he doesn't know is the box basically contains a bowl of ramen. and he thinks everybody's great. He's just finally, for the first time in his life, he feels like he might belong somewhere. All right, and including he really likes Moondoggy, and Moondoggy can be terrible to him, and yet he tells him how much he likes him. What do you like? Hap is kind of the older brother of the group. He's the kind of a guy. Well, in the show, there's a couple scenes where he's having a conversation while reading a newspaper, sitting on the toilet. That's perfect. Too much information.
That's at 10 o'clock, right?
So we're going to go down to, where to go? Down to 324, middle of the second page. Okay? So that's how far we're going. Okay. So everybody ready? Have you got questions? This will be our last scene. This is from Eureka 7, by the way. Sorry? You want to just be young as you can be. We're going to stop at 324. Middle of the second page. That's where we're going to stop. Start at the top, all right? Oh. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
What? Now he's gonna start crying? It's game over, man.
Not quite. Those are tears of regret.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Moondoggy's gonna get out of this. It should be good.
Let us all have a look at which side of the gods the laughter is smiling.
How stupid.
Huh?
I think my brains are gonna rot if I keep hanging out with you guys. I've had enough, thanks.
Oh, you going already, honey?
Yeah, I've got work to do.
What the hell are you up to, anyway? You know exactly what's going on around here, don't you?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
You know exactly what position you have among our crew, and you're doing all of this on purpose.
Oh man, he's starting to let the cat out of the bag. He's self-destructing.
He's just honest about his feelings.
Well, I think it's time for Mundo to make his exit.
Don't sit there pretending to be crying. You're just making fun of me.
But Mr. Moondoggy, I think you're a really nice guy.
All right. All right. Come here. You stand next to him. All right. Come on. All right. I just want you guys to play a little play off each other. You need to be a little bit louder. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. A little louder. You need to be a lot louder. Okay. So really make it bounce off the back. That's wonderful. You can speed up just a little bit.
Okay.
Really slow on that. Wonderful. Okay. Here we go. One more time. In 3, 2, 1.
What? Now he's gonna start crying. It's game over, man.
Not quite. Those are tears of regret.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how Moondog is gonna get up high this one. It should be good.
Let us all have a look at which side the gods are laughter of smiling.
How stupid. I think my brains are going to rot out of my head if I keep hanging out with you guys. I've had enough, thanks.
Oh, keep going already, honey?
Yeah, I've got work to do.
What the hell are you up to, anyway? You know exactly what's going on around here, don't you?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
You know exactly what position you have among our crew, and you're doing all of this on purpose.
Oh, man, he's starting to let the cat out of the bag.
He's self-destructing.
He's just being honest about his feelings.
Yeah, well, I think it's time for Moondoggy to make his exit.
Don't just sit there pretending to be crying. You're just making fun of me.
Mr. Moondoggy, I think you're a really nice guy.
All right, excellent. Thank you. That's wonderful. You got like this Kevin Smith vibe in your voice. So that's voice acting. Any really quickly, I got time for a couple of questions. But any questions you might have regarding what you just saw? Just to do, this is the commercial part of the day. We're actually doing workshops all over the country. I'm going to be, later this year, we're going to be going to Dallas and Atlanta. I go to New York at least twice a year if you're from that part of the country. The next two are in Los Angeles on July 24th and 25th, and then in Chicago, September 11th and 12th. If you want information, you can go, ooh, fancy. You can go to adventuresinvoiceacting.com, click on the workshop links, and you can find out. If you want to find out when they're going to come down into this area, because we're eventually going to come down into this area, just get on the email list. And if you want to get a hold of me or find out about, hello, there you go. You can find me on Facebook at Voice Actor, Tony Oliver Voice Actor, or at TonyOliverEntertainment.com. All right. This was. I just did this same thing in New Jersey at Anime X a few weeks ago. This group is so much better. And let me encourage you. If you really want to do this, put the time in. Commit yourself. It's going to take that. You know, you're up against a lot of people that want to do this. And that kind of commitment will help you along. A lot of luck is involved in this, being in the right place at the right time. But when the luck shows up, you need to be ready to go. So if you want to do it, dedicate yourself. I highly encourage you to take some school and get some training. And if you're not sure, and you can think of anything else on the planet that you can do that's going to make you happy and fulfill your life, do that. Okay? Because this is tough. You've got to absolutely love it to do it. All right? So I want to thank all of you for joining me today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did. And thanks a lot.